Seiko and their crazy case finishes. A lot of what I do is restorations, obviously, and I always recommend to people, because people ask me all the time about buying Seiko watches and what they should do, and I always say you want to find the best possible condition watch to start with. You always want to find the best possible condition original watch, because a lot of the stuff can't be replicated, dials and hands and things like that. But one of the other big things too is casework. Seiko was nuts about their casework. They were crazy. And so people sometimes will send me watches, and then they'll be kind of beaten up on the outside, and they'll say, okay, can you freshen this up, or can you clean it up? And I always say, no, I don't do casework. I don't do casework. The reason is that Seiko's casework has been basically impossible to replicate, because they were so bananas about their cases and the work and the things that they did. And so I've just said, you don't really want to do that. I mean, here, this is an original 6138 3009 from 1972. It's original. Seiko and their crazy mania for case finishes. Look at the combination of things on this case. This is entirely original. Vertical brushing, high polish, knife edge case transitions, front and back brushing. I mean, look, there's brushing on this teeny tiny bit of this. They brush it all the way down the front of the thing, and then polish on the back with circular brushing on the case back, high polish bezel. I mean, all this crazy work that Seiko does, and it's always been a big part of what Seiko's done, and it's extremely hard to do. I think a lot of it has to do with sort of the, Japanese history about metalworking. This is a World War II officer's sword. The blade inside is from the 1700s. And it's original. Look at the different finishes. High polish. And then you've got this satin finish, and there you can see the hamon, you can see the temper line there. This is a family blade, 300 years old. But I think it's part of Japanese aesthetic traditions. Isn't that beautiful? Look, and it's got a family crest on it. So Seiko embodies a lot of this stuff, and they've always been nuts about their case finishes like this. This is from 1977. Beautiful, beautiful quartz watch. But again, even though, you look at this thing, and people don't really think about these watches anymore, but they were expensive in their day. And look what Seiko did. Look at this. Look at the brushing, knife edge case brush transitions, vertical brushing, multi-finish bracelet with PVD on the center links and on the edges, and brushing. Radial brushed case back. All this crazy work. A more modern example. Show a sumo. No, my brain. This is a samurai. High polish, vertical brushing, satin finish titanium. I mean, you got other stuff. 7549. Machined, satin finish, high polish chrome heads, high polish back. Everything that Seiko does, they put all this effort into their casework. These sharp case lines, again with the vertical brushing. These, look at this, again PVD with the brush bracelet. These are amazing watches in terms of condition and quality. One of the first LCD quartz chronographs ever made in the world. These were really expensive when they were new, and Seiko put all the effort in the world into making just exemplary, amazing cases. Look at that bracelet. It's solid stainless steel. Look at the work that Seiko put into that. Nuts. Even modern watches, they're still doing it. This is the SUN 019. Radial brushing. See that? Yeah, I got some hits on it there. This is sort of an everyday watch for me. Vertical brushing, knife edge transition. Seiko has never walked away from doing this stuff. Again, soft radial brushing. Goes down all the way to the front of the lugs with high polished sides. Can't really see that because this one's a little worn, but all this work that Seiko did. So I would always tell people, don't bother with casework, don't bother with casework, because no one can replicate it. And for the most part, that's still true. That was an empty case. Don't be alarmed. So we get in stuff like this. This came out of my junk drawers. This is a 6139 3005. Look at how much it's. This is what casework normally ends up looking like. Look how blurred it is. Everything is rounded. Here's another one, blurred and rounded. Blurred and rounded. They just take a big honking buffing wheel to it, and they grind away all those case lines that I was showing you there. Those nice case lines, they're all gone. Polished away. No circular brushing. No knife edge case transitions at all. All gone. You know, typically, I mean, you're going to see stuff like this. This is an original unrestored case, but even this is worlds better than what I just showed you. This, at least, it still has its case transitions. It's still got its sharp case lines here, and it still has remnants of the brushing. I could clean this case up. I mean, even with a decent cleaning, you know, and a little bit of very light hand polishing there, that would definitely be improved. Okay, so with this in mind, how hard this is to get done, you know, you want to be able to, you know, you want to have a nice looking watch. So I would always tell people, buy a good watch to start with, like this. This is unrestored, completely original. This was someone's watch. I've never done anything with this watch. It's just sitting there. I haven't done anything, but this is original. You can still see, though it's worn, it's got the high polish edge. It's got the nice solid transitions. It has its good brushing on the top. See the nice circular brushing. It's got the knife edge transitions and the high polish lugs here. This is what they're supposed to look like. And this is what I tell people to look for, because it's impossible to replicate this. Okay, so knowing this, past month and a half or 2 months, I've been talking with a guy who's a retired mechanical engineer. And he's really into metals, and he's really into creating gigantic machines. He's a machinist, he's an engineer, and he said, well, you know, we were talking about this very subject, you know, you not being able to refinish this stuff. And he said, I'd be interested to see it. Be curious about the technology. And so I shipped him a box full of cases that looked like this. Cases that I would consider basically junk. There isn't a thing you can really do with them. Junk, literally junk. I mean, because they're so clapped out and polished down. How are you going to bring it back? How are you going to do it? So I sent him these things, and we talked about this and that. And then he shipped me back. He shipped me back some of the cases that I'd sent him. He reverse engineered Seiko's methods for case manufacturing. This case literally was as bad as this case. Look at the corner of the case. Look at the case transition. He brought them back. Look at the hatching on the top brushing. A lot of times when people refinish these cases, they just turn the cases, they just spin the cases, or worse, they take a sanding block and they cut a hole in it and they manually turn the case in the sanding block, and it just produces round circle lines that go all the way around. See how this stops and starts? See the hatchiness of it? The pepperiness of it? I've never seen anyone ever able to replicate that. And he's done it. He's done it. It's amazing. And he not only did it once, he did it twice, he did it 3 times, he did it 4 times. And just for fun, he did it on another type of case entirely. This is a case that is for a 70-meter sport diver. Normally when people refinish them, they look kind of like this. This is a bad refinish job that I got from someone's watch. I don't know who. But you can see that the case, see how it's sort of round and blurred from being on a wheel, and then it's sort of imprecise, nasty brushing on the top versus what he did. Absolutely flat surfaces, razor sharp transitions. That hatchy brushing. he is curious about this. He's retired and he's enjoying it. He does amazing work. The purpose of this video then is to say that we may have an option for refinishing cases that's as good as anything Seiko did originally. Look at that. Look at that. If somebody showed me this case and they said, hey, I found this in someplace or whatever, I would assume that it was stock. That's amazing, amazing work. So he is looking into potentially doing this for us, for me, and we're going to talk about adding case refinishing as an option, because I will only recommend work that I myself would accept, and I would accept this. I would wear this with pride. That is really something. So going forward, we're going to see about getting that done. It won't be cheap. I've never seen work this good. Even my old business partner, Jonathan Koch, wasn't this good. Bless him. But, you know, if Jonathan was here, he would agree. He would be extremely excited to talk to this man who is doing this work, because he's coming up with solutions that no one else came up with. And he's getting results. Fantastic. Anyway, long rambling video talking about Seiko and their crazy case finishes. But it's, you know, it's been a limitation, and now we might have an answer. So there we go. All right. I hope there was a point to this video. And just for fun, one last time, let's look at that. And this was all done by hand. Isn't that amazing? So that is the cultural basis for a lot of what Seiko does. Okay. Thank you much.